Mario 64. It's more than a game. It's the best Mario game. It might even be the best game ever made. But is any of that true? Of course it's not. Like what? Have you seen it? Yeah, I don't know about you, but I was playing Mario Odyssey back when it came out in 2017, and I was like, damn, Mario has hit some real heights. Mario's evolved. This might be the best Mario game. But then no, stop. Actually, you know what was the best Mario game? Mario 64. You know that game that came out in the mid-90s, had poor camera controls, and was played on one of the worst controls ever designed for a home console? Yeah, that's the best game ever made. I don't really know where this opinion started, but can we just agree on one thing? Are you a time traveler? Because if you aren't, you've not played every single game ever made. Are you really gonna plant the flag here? Best ever made? I wouldn't even say it's the best Mario game ever made. And that's not even addressing the fact that you gotta play this game on a freaking Roman soldier helmet. It's really just a case of nostalgia gone crazy. Like, people attribute so much to Mario 64, it blows my mind. They act like 3D games wouldn't exist without it, even though the PlayStation 1 came out 2 years earlier. Heck, Crash Bandicoot came out not even 3.5 months later. Are you gonna try to tell me that Crash Bandicoot only took 3 months to make? 3D platformers were inevitable. It's not Mario 64's doing. And what makes it really hard to have an honest conversation about this game is that people's rose-tinted glasses when looking back at this game are so big they look like John Lennon. And we all know how things ended for him. So I just want to go over some of the reasons people say this is the best Mario game and/or game ever made, and show how it's not. One of the big things people say is the controls. They say the controls are great, they feel really good. I don't know what game they're playing. Like, go play Mario Odyssey and come back and try to tell me with a straight face that it holds up. Even Mario Sunshine holds up better. If a game came out right now from Nintendo that had the exact same controls, people would complain. They'd say the button layout is horrible, it's hard to tell where your jumps are in physical space, and the camera controls are basically non-existent. We have a real problem with revisionist history, because a lot of people when they play this are playing it on emulators, or they're playing it on the Switch All-Stars release, or they play with third-party controllers specifically made to fix the problems of the N64s. First off, what the hell kind of grip is that? It looks like you're opening an umbrella. And you can't even blame it on the time it came out. PlayStation's DualShock controller was just about to hit the market. This is completely the fault of Nintendo. All their engineers came to them with experimental designs for the controllers, and they said, you know, I like the idea here of having an ergonomic controller that feels good in the hands, but instead of that, we have it look like MF Doom's mask? I'm really thinking that's the way to go. And the real thing is that people have played Mario 64 so much, they've completely adjusted to the crap factor. Like, is it a coincidence that the people who say this game has great controls have also played the game like 80 times? Like, you're trying to tell me that someone who speedruns Mario 64 for a living has an unbiased view of the controls? Just look at this. I want to look to the right, but the camera keeps forcing me to the left. I don't know why. It's like the game is forcing you to look where it wants you to look. And this is something that happens through the whole entire game. Like, sometimes the camera will just stop. And what's so funny is the reason for this is the Lakitu. I guess Nintendo thought you were so dumb that you couldn't understand the idea of a camera not being a person. So they made the camera a little dude, and that guy can actually bump into stuff. And I guess he's also like a film major. He thinks he's like Darren Aronofsky or something because he keeps trying to do these sweeping pan shots when I just want to look forward in one direction. The hardest battle in this game is battling the fucking camera. It also really doesn't help that the camera is controlled by buttons, making any precise movement basically impossible. And the problem is this destroys everything, because if the camera doesn't work, then you can't place your jumps correctly, and you end up dead. And somehow that's your fault, and not the game's bad controls. People say the game doesn't look that bad. Bro, Mario literally looks like he's in a cereal. Not that kind of cereal, like the Count Chocula kind. They could add him as a marshmallow in Lucky Charms and it would look just as good. And it's not just Mario. Every single character in this game seems to have their quality set to magically delicious. And hey, I understand. Hearing non-bit crushed female vocal audio for the first time probably made you jizz them in your pants. But just look at Peach, man. If she was in real life, she'd probably look more Picasso than person. Just another thing. You know what the most disappointing thing in this game is? The boss fight with Bowser. It's terrible. It's copy and pasted 3 times, it's boring, it's difficult to control, and anticlimactic. The boss fight in the original NES Mario Bros. Is better. At least for that one, you don't need to know complex trigonometry. When I beat the final Bowser battle, it doesn't feel like the game is finished, it feels like I'm finished. And if they only did it once, that might have made it excusable. But they make you do it 3 times, it really allows you to soak in the crappiness. The only fun thing about it is So Long Gay Bowser. But you might say, Sean, for its time, it was pretty innovative. And I really think that's the big problem with it. It was good for its time. And I don't know if you've looked outside recently, but it's not 1996 anymore. Its time is over. We live in a world of linear advancement. There's literally no possible way that Mario 64 could be better than Mario Odyssey. To say that is to be completely captured by your nostalgia. Taking your like of the game and your opinion out of the equation, one is objectively a better game. In quality, graphics, controls, gameplay, by every metric you could use to measure a game. Like, I love SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom. It's a game I have a lot of nostalgia for. I played it when I was a kid, I played it when I was an adult, and I've enjoyed it my whole life. But is it the best game ever made? No. And I would never even begin to try to make that claim. Mario 64 is the only game that seems to get away with this bullshit. And it really boils down to the fact that nobody pushes back on it. It seems like people are actually afraid to criticize it. Even if you like the game but don't think it's amazing, people crucify you, treat you like a gosh dang virtual apostate. Like, for as much as I have criticized it, I don't hate the game. For what it is and the time it came out, it's pretty good. The levels may be repetitive, the controls might not be all people say they are, the camera controls might suck, but for 1996, damn, it's definitely a trailblazer. The problem starts is when you come to me and try to tell me that not only is it great, not only does it still hold up, but it's better than the new games. When you do that, you're opening up the game for comparison, which it just can't possibly hold up against. Even if you compare it with the closest 3D Mario game in time, Mario Sunshine, it doesn't hold up. The leaps in technology and game quality between the N64 and GameCube is massive. You really gotta separate it by generations. It's kind of impossible to compare all the 3D Mario games against each other. They come out many years apart, they're on different consoles usually, and most of them are held up as an example of the best games to come out on that generation's console. The only thing that you can really ascertain from the timeline of games is that they're getting better. Mario 64 is a trailblazer, but do you really think the first person to walk the trail is going to be able to do it the best? Obviously not. In fact, he's probably going to do it the worst. And constantly trying to claim that it's the best Mario game, I think actually hurts it. Because for anyone that doesn't have nostalgia for it, it's not going to be. And it's not like this game doesn't have things to talk about. Speedrunning is a great example. The speedrunning community is single-handedly keeping this game alive. But at the same time, I don't know what it says about the game that the most popular thing about it is trying to play less of it, trying in every manner to break and contort the game to your whim, or just get the experience over as quickly as humanly possible. And I respect that. Just don't get all uppity to me, saying that your opinions are facts, and just let people like what they like. Mario 64 was good for its time, but that time came and went. So for some people, that's all it'll ever be. Good for its time. Stop, hold up a second. I got something to say that I've been obsessing about ever since I started making this video. And it doesn't really fit into anywhere here, so I just want to say it now. This is Nathaniel Bandy. He made a video ranking all the Mario games. And of course, like the basic ass opinion, he put number 1 as Mario 64. That's not really the problem, he likes it the most, fine. The thing I got a problem with is one of the reasons he cites for why he likes it the most.
It's more than all of that. It's all about the little things. So Long Gay Bowser, the mystery of Luigi being unlockable, the most infamous game bug otherwise known as the BLJ, Mario saying, "Thank you so much for playing my game," the Wario apparition, negative emotional aura.
Notice how that really didn't have anything to do with the game itself? One of the things he mentioned is literally a creepypasta. A complete fabrication. That's like saying one of the things that makes SpongeBob great is the fact that Squidward's suicide exists. It's a bit of a strange take, buckaroo. And that's really it. Hope you have a good day or night, gamer. Peace out.